Okay, so this one up on the board may be slightly different than yours because, like I said, whatever program this board is using to open up my stuff, some of it's getting deleted. I don't understand why. Okay. And real quick, remember, oh yeah, that was in the other video. What do they all have in common? What was that? We'll just go to the questions. Okay. Sorry they're a little bit blurry. They're clearer on yours. Remember, I just had to upload this as a PDF, and that's why. Okay. Also, tell me if any of these don't match y'all's. Which of these statements best explains the process of energy conversion that takes place in the mitochondria? So right now, off the top of my head, I know mitochondria makes ATP energy. Now, if I want to get more specific, it makes it from glucose. So glucose comes in, remember, that's the fuel. Glucose comes in and makes ATP energy. Glucose, you know, carbs. Carbs are energy, but carbs don't give you ATP energy. They're just like the raw materials, okay? So energy is required for...
No.
Energy is not required. Energy comes out.
Pretty.
Water molecules and radiant energy. Guys, does sunlight, radiant energy have anything to do with the mitochondria? Oxygen molecules. Guys, I'm also recording. Oxygen molecules release energy. Does oxygen have energy? No, oxygen is just oxygen. The energy in the bonds of glucose molecules transferred to the phosphate bonds in ATP. So, even this whole bond thing, it's a little confusing, but you know, glucose gives energy to the ATP. Good. J. Okay, next one. How does the size of a eukaryotic organism compare to that of a prokaryote? So right now, I'm trying to say that which one is bigger, a eu or a pro? Not that pro, no nucleus, that dumb, doesn't even have a brain bacteria. Okay, so eu is bigger. Eukaryotic are usually much larger than prokaryotic. Yeah, I think that sounds right. Eukaryotes are usually much smaller. No, they're larger. Eukaryotes and prokaryotes are both usually small. Okay, that is true, but they're asking us to compare the size. So by saying they're both small, we're not comparing them. So that's the trick. They are very small, but they're not being compared, and eukaryotes and prokaryotes are both very large now. Eukaryotes are larger than prokaryotes. That is on several STAR tests, so, okay. Which of the following is true about cells? Now, they're going to ask us about the definition of eu and pro. I need to write this down and just keep myself in check. So, eu has a nucleus. This is what I'm going to write before I answer this. And pro, no nucleus, okay? In general, eukaryotic cells do not have a nucleus. Nope, that's false. Both eukaryotic cells and prokaryotic cells always contain a nucleus, not prokaryotes. In general, prokaryotic cells do not have a true nucleus, true, whereas eukaryotic cells contain both nucleus, yep, so this one is true. And then D, neither prokaryotic cells nor eukaryotic cells ever contain it. Yes, they do. Yes, eukaryotic cells do. Okay? So C is definitely the best answer. And guys, all you had to know is the difference between the two. Okay, this is where I don't know if we all have the same ones. If you don't, tell me. So this first one I think you do. Which molecule provides the most energy used to drive the reaction in cells? So guys, they're saying which molecule? Did they ask for the organelle?
Oh, so it's ATP.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
I think
which
that was kind of confused.
molecule?
Yeah.
They try to trick us. Okay.
And you answered it. But I was like...
Next one. The swordfish has a heat-generating organ that warms its brain and eyes up to 14 degrees above the surrounding water temperature. What structures are likely to be found in relatively high concentrations in the cells of this organ? Okay, guys. So, if you had to heat your hands up and you had to stay heated, that's probably using a lot of energy. Okay, that's my thing. Swordfish Doesn't need to have a whole bunch of DNA. It just needs to have one copy of DNA. Doesn't have to have a whole bunch of chromosomes, just one copy.
I had to guess. I was guessing, so I wanted to get it done.
Now heat, guys, y'all, heat is energy, correct?
Mitochondria.
So heat energy needs to come from some other kind of energy, such as ATP energy. Who makes ATP energy? This one. Okay. Do y'all have these?
I have that one.
I have which of these is
I have the
function
first
of
two
the
at the
cell,
top.
energy conversion, and then food
Okay.
is converted.
I think, okay, so these two, ready? Let's do these two. Which of these is a function of the cell membrane? So guys, remember, a cell membrane surrounds a cell, controls what goes in and out. Okay. If your cell needs something, it brings it in. If it doesn't, it pushes it out. Okay, so it's kind of like the balance for the cell. It's selectively permeable. Not everything can come in, just things that it wants. Okay, so produces cellular nutrients. Does it make nutrients for the cell? That's the chloroplast, I want to say. Makes glucose, okay. Preserving cellular waste.
Why would you want to keep it?
Yeah, so that's like the vacuole or the lysosome maybe. Neutralizing chemicals, that probably was the lysosome. Maintaining homeostasis. Yes, because guys, homeostasis, we didn't get to it yet on the review sheet, is your happy, healthy state. Who makes you happy, healthy? Your cell membrane, because it brings in good stuff, pushes out bad stuff. Good. Okay, energy within an animal cell will be severely limited by the removal of, who makes energy in animals? Mitochondria. Chloroplast just makes glucose. Plastids, we don't talk about. Lysosome is just waste. Okay. Okay.
We don't got that. I don't got that.
If you don't have these, then pay attention. You're going to work them out with me up here. A laboratory investigation included examining prepared slides of pond water. A single-celled organism with a nucleus and either cilia or flagella were visible. These organisms probably belong to the kingdom. You may forget this, but is this cell right here a eukaryote or a prokaryote? Because it has a nucleus, even though it's very primitive. So it is not bacteria. Okay. Now, it's single-celled, so is it an animal? No. A fungi, so that's like mushrooms. Fungi are more, so they kind of look more like plants. Okay. It's not a plant because it's a unicellular. It is a protist.
Isn't protist like in between?
Yes. So here's a bacteria. Looks just like a bacteria, but it has that nucleus. It was weird. We thought protists were bacteria until we looked at them and we're like, oh, they have a nucleus. Okay. This right here, guys, I shouldn't even have to read anything. What does that look like to you? A plant cell. And if you look hard, I know the resolution is horrible. It has a bunch of chloroplasts. Good, plant cell. Now, some people say, well, could it be a fungus? Fungi do look a lot like plant cells, but if you had this in better resolution, you can actually see the chloroplast. Should fungi have chloroplasts? Should fungi photosynthesize? No, they are heterotrophs. They get their nutrients from decomposing waste. Okay, almost done? Multicellular eukaryotes that are usually mobile and obtain food from eating other organism probably belong to animal. Yeah, I don't know why these are by the, maybe it's because we're talking about multicellular. These are animals. Okay. Food is converted to energy in the mitochondria. Food, glucose is converted into energy, ATP, into the mitochondria. Okay, keep on looking up here. We're done with yours, but we got to keep on going. We're almost done. Okay. A genome-wide association study involves searching the genomes of many people in order to find genetic variations associated with common diseases such as cancer, asthma, and diabetes. These studies are possible because of a computer database, or of computer databases that allows researchers to compare the genomes of people who do not have a particular condition with genomes of people who have that condition. In order to do this type of testing, researchers need blood samples or cheek swabs from people. Obtaining these samples is necessary because blood and cheek cells contain. Now really, do we have to read that whole thing? No. But by reading that whole thing, I think you understand that this whole question is asking, how do we get the genes in people? We get your genes by taking samples of your cells, your blood cells or your cheek cells, because they have what? Do they have plasma and platelets? Do they have a complete set of your DNA? Yes. Essential proteins and amino acids? Yes. A large. So guys, they have all this, but the main question is, why is it necessary? It's to get your DNA. Let's see, are we done? Okay, this question asks about, do you know the difference between prokaryotes and eukaryotes? So guys, here's your question. Look up here. Based on the observation of the student, which organism is most likely to belong to the taxonomic group of bacteria? So first off, you had to remember bacteria is a prokaryote. So out of organisms 1, 2, 3, and 4, which ones are prokaryote? Pro, no nucleus. Perfect. So that is a super fair start question that all you had to know was, okay, bacteria are prokaryotes, they don't have nuclei. Okay, student wants to use a Venn diagram to show the characteristics of two kingdoms. Okay, so what do animals and plants share? Okay, ready? Are they both mobile? No, plants aren't mobile. Are they both unicellular? No. Are they both prokaryotic? No. Are they both multicellular? Mm-hmm. Yes, so that was super easy. Okay, ready? We're going to do another one. Bacteria and protists. Oh man, so guys, remember we have bacteria, and then we have a very similar looking protist, but protist does have a nucleus. So ready? Which of these characteristics would be in the shaded part? Are they both eukaryotic? No, because this one is prokaryotic. Are they both unicellular? Yes, they're only one cell. So they're not multicellular and they're not both prokaryotic. Good. Almost done. Another one talking about pro versus eu. Ready? Which of these correctly identifies the two cells described? So they want to know which one is pro, which one is eu. So cell number 1, tell me what it is. Smaller than 5 micrometers, does not have a nucleus. Larger than 10, has a nucleus. Which one says 1 is pro, 2 is eu? 1 is pro, 2 is eu. Perfect. 2 more.
Please.
This has a lot more than I realized. Hold on, we're almost done. Okay, the response represented in the illustration would most likely be caused by, okay, don't look at the little dots, look at the size of the vacuoles. What do you see this vacuole compared to that vacuole?
It just closes.
More water, less water. So what would cause less water? A reduced supply of oxygen, long periods of rainfall, high concentration of glucose, little available water. Good.
You don't even have to circle it, Miss Fox.
Don't circle it. We don't have time.
Miss
I
Fight,
bet
stop
there's another
it.
one after this one, you know?
Miss Fight, you keep saying we are almost done. We keep
Well,
having
this is a
more.
really good one though.
Oh my
Which
God.
group of organelles is directly responsible for production of new materials? Guys, what is the only thing you make in your cells? Protein. So it's
The first one.
Hey.
ribosome and Golgi. Okay.
What's the next one? Go,
Don't
two, go.
look in front of the camera though. Hold on.
We're
I'm
gonna
almost
get in front
done.
of the camera.
We've got to be done. Oh my God. Okay, we're almost done. 4 different types of cells are shown below. Which characteristic is shared by all 4? Guys, they're all different, but they all have to have genetic material. D is the right answer. Which cellular process takes place at the ribosome that are bound to the ER? Ribosomes make protein. They make new materials. Don't walk in front of the camera. They don't break down waste. They don't convert energy. They don't replicate nucleotides. It's C, the synthesize new proteins. Almost done. How does DNA in cells determine an organism's traits? So your DNA makes protein. Your protein is what builds you. So ready? DNA contains code for proteins, which are necessary for the growth and functioning of an organism. A is the right answer. DNA separates into long strands that make up each part of an organism. That is true, but that is not why it makes your traits. DNA produces energy. Nope, DNA does not make energy. ATP makes energy. DNA folds in the nucleus of each cell. That is true, but that is not why you get your traits. A is the right answer. Okay. Methanogens, thermophiles, and halophiles are some of the most primitive life forms found on Earth and thrive in very harsh environments. These unicellular prokaryote organisms most likely belong to the following kingdom. This question should really be with the kingdoms, but remember, if something is a prokaryote, it has to be a bacteria. So they list eubacteria and archaebacteria, and you got to remember, eubacteria is a bacteria. UC, archaea is harsh, so the right answer is D, archaebacteria. Okay, last question. Scientists determined that organisms of the genus Spinalochorus were eukaryotes and not prokaryotes because Spinalochorus have. If Spinalochorus are eukaryotes, they have a nucleus. Let's see which one says that. Flagella, hereditary material, cells wall, nuclear membrane. D is right.